Welcome back to Life Lessons with Kelly George. I wanted to come on here today and share with you about a word that the Lord has been sharing some things with me about, some things that I've studied over the years and some things I've learned under different speakers. But I, first of all, wanted to thank you for joining me in my space and allowing me into your space. So thanks again. I wanted to talk to you today after I remind you why I'm doing these life lessons with Kelly George. I was reading in Titus, and it talks about how the older women are supposed to teach the younger women, that there's a whole generation that is missing having grandmas speaking to the moms and then the moms speaking into the daughters. And I know from experience how I have missed learning some things from my mother because they were not passed down from her mother. I come from a broken family, and my mom grew up in a stable family until my grandpa passed away. And then it became a broken family. And so the things that my grandmother learned, she did not pass down to my mom. And my mom didn't have them, didn't know what to pass down to me. And so I felt an urgent need to fill in a spot that has been escaping, whichever word. I'm not an English major, so I apologize to any English majors out there. So I wanted to take an opportunity and be someone that others can watch the video and say, oh, I didn't know that. I want to be someone that helps the younger generation see that the things that they're dealing with are things that are common to man. Women throughout the ages have been dealing with issues. You know, the things that women were dealing back with in the 1800s are definitely different than the things that women are dealing with today. However, emotions are emotions. Anger is anger, fear is fear, doubt is doubt. Not being sure of yourself was the same for a woman in the 1800s, in the early 1900s. And it's the same for a woman of today, where they feel unsure of themselves, not sure that they're doing things correctly. I don't think that there's necessarily any way that is right or wrong, that's better or worse than someone else's. However, I do think that there is a manual that we can go by that helps us walk through those decisions, those emotions. And today, I want to discuss with you about the word covenant. Covenant is a very powerful word. It's an important word. Too many people do not understand the importance or the strength of a covenant. And I'm reading off of my notes here, so I don't want to forget something that I definitely want to share. So a covenant is also very important to the Lord. You know, back in Genesis 17 is where I read about Abraham making a covenant with the Lord. When he made that covenant with the Lord, well, with God, the Lord, the Trinity, it's the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. So they're all three in one. So when I talk about the Lord or I talk about God, I'm talking about the same person. So Abraham made a covenant, and because of that covenant, it gave God the opportunity to be able to come in and have the way to redeem man when Adam gave up his authority on the earth. And God, as a gentleman, he can't just come in and barge in and take control. I know a lot of people say he's in control. However, if that were the case, God definitely wouldn't be allowing all these bad things to be going on, okay? We have to realize we have authority that has been given to us. God gave it to Adam. Adam, however, gave it up to the enemy, Satan. And then Abraham made a covenant with God, giving God the opportunity to come back in and have an opportunity to redeem us through the seed. It's called the seed, not seeds as in plural, but the seed with Mary. And because of that seed being planted within Mary, and Mary having the birth of Jesus, That gave us the opportunity as Jesus walked out his life. He gave it up, laid himself on that cross. When he was resurrected, ta-da, we get authority back. So I lead that back into talking about covenant, talking about the importance of covenant. You know, we have the blood covenant, and this is discussed in the Old Testament. That's where Abraham made the blood covenant with the Lord. Okay. Then as I'm thinking about covenants, which is why I started this program today, I think about a marriage covenant. Now, a marriage covenant, a lot of people today are not taking as a serious thing. A lot of people think that I'm going to get married, and if I don't like it, I'm skipping out, I'm getting a divorce. There are even some people that have prenuptial agreements. And my personal opinion on that is I don't agree with the prenuptial agreement, because when you become one, what this one has and this one has, they come together as one. It's to be shared. And if you're not in that frame of mind, then you might be led to have a prenuptial agreement. And in the back of your mind, a person like that is thinking or has had thoughts that if I don't agree with this, if I don't like this, I'm great. I have a prenuptial agreement. I can end it. And everything that was mine before the marriage, it's mine again. I struggle with that, but that's my personal opinion. You know, something else you're going to hear me say a lot, other people's opinions are none of our business. So you can take my opinion, you can agree with it or not. However, it's my video. Anyway, I want to go back to the marriage covenant. There have been people that have asked me how Doug and I have been married for so long. So far, we've been married 17 years. I came from being 13 years single mom, and he came from a lifestyle of prison and drugs and alcohol. And in our walks, we both got saved. We dedicated our lives to live for the Lord. And then the Lord brought us together. He made us a team. We tell people all the time, we are a team. We took very seriously a marriage covenant. And as we walk things out, yes, there are times when there's emotions popping up, there's situations popping up, and it makes you rethink the covenant. Now, when I say rethink the covenant, I'm letting you know that there are three things. Let me see. Let me check my paperwork. There are three crucial elements in a marriage covenant to keep it strong, to keep it moving forward and not going backwards. Those three things are commitment, communication, and forgiveness. Okay, it's important in any relationship that we're having, but it's definitely very serious when it comes to a marriage covenant. Okay, you have to have commitment. You have to decide ahead of time. You're in this for the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. Okay, you have to decide that no matter what happens, I'm going to walk in forgiveness. We're supposed to be walking in forgiveness in any relationship that we're in. The word says that we are not to let the sun go down on our anger. Now, I'll admit, there are some nights where I'm at the last moments of going to sleep. And in my last breath before I go to sleep, I'm asking the Lord, forgive me for being mad. I forgive Doug for whatever it is that he had done that day. Because we have to remember, when we're married in a marriage covenant, that person has committed to love us through the good, the bad, and the ugly. So no matter what happens, you have to have it in the back of your mind to remember that person that I married loves me. They are not intentionally trying to hurt me, to say things that would cause hurt or offense, to do things or not do things that we were expecting or not expecting. Things happen. They happen in any relationship that we're having. So to have forgiveness as a priority is necessary for that covenant and that relationship, with whatever kind it is, to survive. And so you have commitment, you have forgiveness. And the third one that I'm going to talk about is communication. Communication. That's something a lot of people are lacking. And, we have to, as we take this family and this family, you've got the husband's family and the wife's family before they're married, and they come together and they make one family. They're making a new family. So some of the things, some of the culture, some of the way that things are done, I can't recall the word that is called right now, but the way things are done in this family, the way things are done in this family, okay? They may be opposite, but now they're coming together and they have to figure out how to bring two in together and to make a whole new culture, as I would call it. Communication is what causes that to come together smoother than without communication. I'm sure each one of you can think of a situation, can think of a relationship that the communication was very poor. And because of very poor communication, there was lacking in that relationship. There were mistakes in that relationship. And then eventually, if it hasn't fallen apart, it's on that way unless the communication is placed as foremost. You have to learn how to talk to people. You have to learn how to hear people. There are different programs out there that you can get off the internet that will help you. There's different things. John Maxwell teaches things. There's the 5 love languages. There's the different personalities and things. You have to invest. You might have to invest some money, but you need to invest some things. Be always learning so that you can educate yourself on how to understand people. Understanding people is learning how to communicate with them. When you learn how to communicate with those that you've made covenant with, that helps in every other area of your life. I want to real quickly talk about the fundamentals of why a covenant was initially made, as I have learned studying the word, okay? A covenant happened because back then you might have an Israelite tribe that was great at farming, but they were very poor in defending themselves and for hunting for meat and different things like that. Then you'll have this other tribe over here that is great at hunting, great at defending themselves, but they are very poor in growing anything. They don't have a green thumb, as we would say today. So these two tribes come together in an agreement, in a covenant. This one says, we will grow food for you if you will protect us. And this one says, well, we will protect you if you will grow food for us. So that's one of the initial reasons why covenants were made, to help each other. It's the same thing as today, not necessarily with farming and hunting and protection, but you have two people coming together, making a covenant in agreement with each other to help the other one where the other one is weak. Doug and I make a great team. Back way when I was eating unhealthy, we were great at, this is silly, but we were great at being able to share the same cinnamon roll, okay? Doug likes the center. I like the outside. I like it to be a little bit more crisp, a little bit more firm. And so we were great at eating the cinnamon roll. So that's just something silly. That's something that just popped into my head to be a lighthearted example of bringing two together. So another way that someone might bring something together that makes a great team, one may be great in finances and the other one is great at something else. So you got the two that come together and they become a great team, a great covenant partnership together. So all three of these things are crucial for a good covenant. Once again, I'm going to remind you, they are commitment, communication, and forgiveness. I think the most important one is forgiveness, because we need to be quick to forgive, because things happen, things are said, things are done or not done, and it brings offense. Offense, if it's left gone unforgiven, will turn into bitterness. And bitterness produces a root within you. And they have proven that when people are walking around in bitterness, it causes all kinds of things to happen in your body. Your body was not created to walk in bitterness. and anger and all the other things that goes with those things. So I encourage you, as you're moving forward, as you're getting into relationships, as you're making covenants with people, remember these three things: commitment, communication, and forgiveness. So I wanted to tell you that we are called to be set apart, to show the example of kingdom covenant. Because through Christ, we can do all things. All things we can do through Christ. I believe that's Philippians 4:13. So if you want to go back in the Word and read about these things that I've discussed with you today, look in Genesis 17. You can look in Luke 1 about the seed that was planted in Mary. And then you can also look in Titus 2:3-5, which talks about the reason why I'm doing life lessons with Kelly George. So I want to thank you for coming into my space and allowing me to speak to you in regards to some things that the Lord has been sharing with me this week. So I love you all. I thank you. God bless you. And I look forward to the next time you allow me into your space.